The movie begins with a meteor crashing down to Earth. At the same time, a young man named Wayne Gray is faking a story that his mother burned down their house by falling asleep while smoking in bed, though his mom is just a dummy. As he's telling this story, he witnesses the meteor falling, and it lands right on his car, creating a massive crater. Wayne freaks out and runs away. The next morning, the scene shifts to Glen Canyon Community College. Here, we meet Dr. Ira Kane, a biology professor who has just handed out grades. Most of his students received A's, but two brothers, Deke and Danny Donald, got a lower grade because they misunderstood the assignment. Instead of writing about the cells in the human body, they wrote about their uncle living in a jail cell. Professor Harry Phineas Block, who teaches geology, is checking a female student named Nadine's exam. He suggests that she might want to consider a different career, especially since she wants to be a nurse, where people's lives would depend on her skills. Nadine mentions that she actually wants to be Miss Arizona, but her pageant consultant told her that studying nursing would impress the judges. Harry's conversation is interrupted by Ira, who invites him to lunch. Instead of lunch, they decide to go check out the meteor. Harry, who works with the U.S. Geological Survey, has the authority to investigate it. When they arrive at the site, Harry introduces Ira to Sheriff Long as his secretary. Wayne Gray explains that he was practicing for his fire brigade entrance exam when the meteor landed. The meteor created a huge crater that looks like a cave, and the police officers are goofing around it, taking pictures. Officer Sam Johnson asks Harry what he's doing there. Harry responds with some attitude, but Ira gets to the point and says they need to take samples. Officer Johnson mentions that the police already have all the photos they need. The meteor is still hot, and when someone hits it with an axe, it starts to bleed. Later on, Ira examines a sample of the goo from the meteor under a microscope. He's shocked to see the cells multiplying rapidly, so fast that they break the glass slide they're on. Meanwhile, Harry is coaching the volleyball team. Ira rushes to tell him about the incredible discovery he's made, a DNA sequence with 10 base pairs, which is unusual. The two of them start dreaming about winning the Nobel Prize. But then, something even more surprising happens. The cells have already evolved from a single-cell organism into a multicellular one. Ira quickly realizes that the cells are evolving at an incredible rate. In another scene, Wayne Gray fails his fire brigade exam because he fell asleep and accidentally hit himself in the privates with the hose. He finds out he'll have to wait 6 months to take the exam again. Harry and Ira take their students to see the meteor. When they arrive, the air is filled with a bad-smelling vapor, and strange yellow mushroom-like things have started growing on the cave floor. Nadine mentions feeling something on her toes, and they discover that the ground is covered with millions of slimy flatworms. Ira picks one up and it dies as soon as it touches the air. He thinks the oxygen killed it. He puts one in a jar and it starts splitting into more worms. Ira wants to keep everything secret because he's worried the government will take over, and he seems to know a lot about how the government operates. Meanwhile, Wayne Gray is working as the pool manager at a country club, one of his many jobs. He gets scolded by Barry Cartwright, Gregory Itzen, for leaving a damp towel lying around. When Wayne goes to get cleaning supplies, he finds a bunch of slimy worms on the floor and steps on some of them. He then notices a strange fish with sharp teeth and a bad attitude in a container of water. He quickly leaves the storeroom. Harry analyzes the samples and discovers 3 different subspecies. The worms are evolving incredibly fast. They decide to visit the crash site again, but when they get there, the military has already taken over. A guard at the gate refuses to let them in and starts questioning them. Another soldier even tries to shoot Ira, but eventually they are allowed to enter. At the crash site, Ira and Harry meet General Russell Woodman, who happens to be Ira's former boss. Woodman reveals that they've been monitoring Ira's computer activity. They also meet Allison Reed, a clumsy scientist who trips on a step and falls. Harry and Ira notice her underwear and make comments about her garter belt. The army takes over the investigation, forcing Ira and Harry to leave. On the way out, Ira moons them in defiance. 2 weeks later, Ira goes to court to try and get permission to be part of the federal investigation. During the hearing, Judge Gilder gets annoyed when Woodman insults Glen Canyon Community College's facilities, calling them a joke. Allison Reed questions Ira as a witness, bringing up his past. Ira was dismissed from his previous job for giving soldiers an experimental anthrax vaccine that had terrible consequences. They realize they have no chance of winning the case. When Ira and Harry return to their lab, they find that all their samples and their computer have been stolen in a break-in. Furious, they decide to break into the military facilities themselves, with Ira dressing up as a colonel and Harry as a soldier. Inside the military facility, Ira and Harry come across a giant flying mosquito. Latine Cryer notices them and wonders who these two are, especially since one of them is kind of dancing in the elevator. When they reach the cave, they find it has turned into a strange rainforest filled with bizarre creatures. Cryer informs Reed about their unauthorized visit. Colonel Fleming just smiles at Harry's inappropriate jokes. Suddenly, A fly gets inside Harry's protective suit. They try to kill it, but it's trapped in his leg. Harry is rushed to the hospital where Dr. Paulson, Wayne Duvall, has to remove the bug through Harry's rectum. Nurse Tate, Ira, and Allison cheer him on. Once they get the bug out, it dies as soon as it comes into contact with oxygen. Meanwhile, Wayne Gray is working as a waiter at a country club party, still upset about failing his firefighting exam. Barry Cartwright sets up a date with a woman at a secluded spot on the golf course, but he gets eaten by a strange alligator-like creature. Wayne isn't sorry about it at all. He brings the dead alligator to Ira and Harry, who have just gotten out of the hospital. It turns out the creature died because it choked on the oxygen in the air. At a ladies' gathering at Jill Mason's home, Patty finds a lot of dead bugs. They hear something pushing against a locked door, and Jill tells Grace to open it. When Grace does, a huge frog-like creature emerges. It seems sad and harmless, but when Grace tries to pet it, alien-like mandibles shoot out and bite her hand. The ladies panic. Debbie tries to call 911 while Jill tries to shoot the creature. Before she can, the creature chokes on the oxygen, deflates, and dies. Later, Ira discusses with Allison how these alien creatures are spreading and adapting. At breakfast, Harry, Wayne, and Ira talk about the alien situation. Ira then meets his ex-girlfriend Denise, who is with Officer Sam Johnson. Ira asks Denise for some cream and notices she's wearing one of his shirts. Denise offers to take it off, but Sam quickly avoids the situation and leaves because he's been called to work. The three of them head to the site where the dead alien animals are found, and Sam lets them in. Wayne discovers a spot where hundreds of these creatures are dying. One large creature dies but gives birth to a small dragon-like animal through its mouth, which immediately flies off to the nearby shopping center. Tumbleweeds. The friends grab some weapons and head to the mall. Inside the mall, a middle-aged couple is the first to see the dragon when it crashes through a shop window. A girl is in a shop dressing room when the dragon snatches her. Wayne starts singing badly to attract the dragon, and surprisingly, it seems to be bothered by his awful singing. Harry rescues the girl, and then Harry shoots the dragon. The crowd applauds as the three friends leave the mall, dancing to Play That Funky Music in their car. Meanwhile, a reporter covers the story of the dead animals, interviewing a road worker who has a hurt hand. Another reporter mentions that the government has not yet commented on the situation. Governor Lewis is furious about not being informed sooner about the alien situation. During a meeting where the spread of the aliens is being discussed, the three men, Harry, Ira, and Wayne, interrupt. Woodman proposes using a hydrogen bomb to deal with the aliens. In the cave, the aliens have evolved into primate-like creatures that are now disabling all the cameras. They start to leave through an elevator, which is currently empty. The lights go out, and the primates attack everyone. One of them jumps back down the hole from which they originally emerged. Wayne manages to kill the last one. Governor Lewis gives Woodman the authority to use the hydrogen bomb. Allison disagrees with Woodman's plan, but this time, she decides to leave with Ira, Harry, and Wayne. They work to evacuate everyone. Ira examines a bowl of liquid from the Meteor, while Harry, smoking a cigarette, accidentally throws a match into the bowl. The liquid ignites and rapidly grows, resembling a spectacular indoor firework display. Allison tries to convince Woodman not to use the bomb, but he refuses to listen. Meanwhile, Deke and Danny Donald bring beers to everyone. Noticing the periodic table on Allison's t-shirt, they realize they need selenium to address the situation. The Donald brothers plan to create selenium using Head & Shoulders shampoo, which contains selenium sulfide. Wayne borrows a fire truck to help with the mission. The army and Governor Lewis attack the alien, causing them to expand rapidly with each explosion. A massive worm emerges, destroying homes and roads and stomping on soldiers. As the worm starts dividing, they drive the fire truck underneath it, and it releases a foul odor. Harry uses a hose pipe like an enema. The worm swallows Harry but soon explodes, spreading green goo everywhere. Ira and Allison kiss, covered in the goo while Woodman fights off people trying to clean him. Lewis congratulates the team. Wayne becomes a firefighter, and Ira and Allison head to the fire truck for a romantic moment, leaving their medals behind. The movie ends with the dragon-like creature flying over the three friends, who are now filming a commercial for Head & Shoulders shampoo.